Hey everybody. It is Wednesday and I'm running late, so I apologize to anybody who thought I was hopping on at 12 and saw that I did not hop on at 12. I said yes to something today that I should have said no to. Not because it didn't turn out to be an awesome thing, but just I didn't really think through the time commitment that it would require of me. So, if you guys follow me, I'm always preaching saying no to things that don't serve you. And thinking ahead. And I didn't do that today. So I'm running about 20 minutes behind. So my apologies. But I'm so excited for today because I'm going to knock your guys' socks off with some of these cool household things that everybody should have on their grocery list all the time that have multiple uses. And especially if you're a mom and you have small children, you guys, I think you're going to find this really valuable. And you may already know all this stuff, but I'm just going to share about 3, maybe 4 items with you today, depending on time, that I use in my home on a daily, like multiple times a day basis. And I'm going to share just a couple little quick tips of how I use these things. Okay. So thing number 1 is ta-da! White vinegar. You guys, we buy this stuff by like the truckload, okay? So white vinegar is a staple in our home. I use it for everything, and if you don't use white vinegar in your home, you must. It has seriously there has been, hey Diana, thanks for tuning in, talking about the top items everyone should be stocking in their kitchen and sharing multiple uses for them today. So white vinegar, you guys, has some amazing properties. Many people purchase it and they'll use it as if they're making salad dressing or to add tartness to things, but it has so many more uses than that. I'm just going to name a few of them here. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them. These are the ways in which we use white vinegar in our home. White vinegar has antibacterial and antifungal properties. So that's why you'll hear people talk about using it as a cleanser in different areas of their home. I use white vinegar. I didn't bring the spray bottle in here with me, but I have a spray bottle that I keep in our kitchen that is full with about 3/4 white vinegar and 1/4 water. You could do like full on just straight white vinegar if you wanted to. And that is what I use to disinfect, when you bring your fruits and vegetables home and you want to clean those, you can either fill your sink with vinegar and soak them in there, or you can just put them in a big, huge strainer basket, and I will just spray those fruits and vegetables with that white vinegar and make sure that they're completely coated, and leave it for a couple minutes, and then I rinse them, and then they're good to go. They're clean, and you don't have to worry that you're eating fruits and vegetables that may have been handled by not so pleasant fingers. They go through a lot before they get to the grocery store and before you take them home. So I always like to clean our fruits and vegetables, and having a spray bottle of white vinegar is a great way to do that. The spray bottle itself also is very useful for just cleaning in the kitchen. That's what we use to spray down. It won't taste like vinegar? No, it will not taste like vinegar, Diana. So that's the beauty of vinegar, is that it has these properties that no matter how you use it in your home, the smell and the taste will dissipate. So no, you just spray, you rinse, and then you put them back in your fridge, or if you're going to cook with them that day, you just rinse them and you're good to go. And then same with cleansing. I use it to wipe down our counters, our sinks, our everything, and especially white vinegar with a little bit of baking soda makes a super fabulous cleaner. So you spray the vinegar into your sink, then you pour some baking soda in there, and then you just scrub with a cloth. And so you've got disinfecting, and then the baking soda is going to give you that abrasiveness that you need to kind of remove, stains and spots. White vinegar is also fabulous with baking soda if you've got clogged drains, right? So you can pour a bunch of baking soda down your drain, pour some white vinegar on top. This big volcano will bubble up, but that is going to help break up some of the stuff that is causing your sinks to be backed up. So it's kind of a great It's a great thing to get into the habit of actually using regularly in all your sinks. Pouring some white vinegar and baking soda down there on a regular basis will just help keep them nice and clear. So, of course, we talked about, it's used for cooking, cleaning, disinfecting. And then the other thing that I love to use white vinegar for is in our laundry. Okay, so for those of you who live in a more humid climate, I moved here from, I used to live in a desert climate. It was super dry. I shouldn't say desert because 6 months of the year it's freezing cold and snowing, but let's just say it's very dry there. And when I moved here out to the West Coast, it's very humid here. And I noticed that our laundry, if you don't, especially those front loading machines, if you don't take your laundry out right away or you close the door of those front loading machines, it starts to get that mildew kind of musty smell. And this will also happen just with, the laundry, the machine itself, and then also your clothes will start to smell like that. And then you'll just take them like that and you'll put them in the dryer and they'll dry and they won't smell musty. But then as soon as you sweat or as soon as they get a little bit damp, that smell starts to come out of your clothes and it's not so fresh and pretty gross. So white vinegar is a much safer and more effective alternative than bleach. A lot of people will put bleach in their washing machine or, when they're cleaning stuff because they're trying to get the smell out. I would do white vinegar. We don't use bleach in our home at all. Bleach is super toxic, so just stay away from bleach if you can. But white vinegar will get that smell out. So if you're struggling right now with the smell in your washing machine, what I would do is pour a whole, I would probably do a third of a jug, a 2-liter jug of white vinegar into wherever your detergent goes and crank that machine on for a short cycle on super hot water. Do that once or twice and you will get rid of the smell. And then to prevent it from happening again and again, just start using white vinegar with every wash. So white vinegar also has softening properties. So we don't use fabric softener. If you guys follow me, you know that I am really focused on living a healthy, more holistic life. So we don't use toxic chemicals in our home. Fabric softener is a toxic chemical, okay? It has toxic chemicals because that smell comes from synthetic fragrance, which is toxic. So I don't use dryer sheets. I don't use fabric softener. And the trick to keeping your clothes smelling nice and fresh and not being staticky is using white vinegar to get rid of that mildew smell and then putting it in place of wherever your fabric softener goes in your machine. So instead of fabric softener, you're going to put white vinegar every wash. And then when you're drying your clothes, you just want to static happens when you over dry your clothes, okay? So I think we need to get back to why fabric softener sheets were invented in the first place. They were invented because people would over dry their clothes and your clothes would cling together. But eventually what ended up happening was these fabric softener companies started adding fragrances to these sheets. And now we add fabric softener to our clothes just to make it smell good. But remember that the purpose of fabric softener is not to make your clothes smell good. Your clothes should actually not smell like anything. They should just smell like nothing. If you're breathing in this fragrance and your clothes smell like Downy Fresh, every time somebody walks by me and smells Downy Fresh, I feel the same way I feel when somebody walks by me who has just smoked a cigarette, okay? I just feel like I'm breathing in toxic chemicals. So I really like to stay away from anything with fragrance, especially for your babies, guys. If you have small babies, please do not use fabric softener in their clothes, like your newborn babies. Babies tend to have, I hear a lot nowadays, the eczema and the asthma and the respiratory issues. And I sometimes wonder if this is because we are just consumed, we're surrounded by toxic chemicals and fragrances and, in our baby products and in our laundry detergent and our fabric softener. So just try to get away from all of that. Vinegar is going to help you get away from fat. It's going to soften your clothes and it's going to keep them smelling like nothing. And then taking your clothes out of the dryer before, you want to take them at the perfect time, basically. You don't want to over dry your clothes. So if your clothes are getting staticky, next time, put it on a setting where it's going for 5 minutes less and just knock it down by 5 minutes until your clothes are coming out, they're just perfectly dry, and you've just nailed that time down perfectly. So in our home with our dryer, it's like 45 minutes, and after 45 minutes, if the dryer's still going, the clothes will get staticky, but this way you're also saving on energy, right? So energy equals money. So there's a little tip for you there when it comes to washing your clothes using vinegar. And then the final thing that vinegar is great for, because it is antifungal, it is great for things like athlete's foot and toenail fungus. A relative of mine had, for years, she told me that she had struggled with this toenail fungus. When I met her, she's on my husband's side of the family, and when I met her, she was telling me that she had this for years and years, and she could not get rid of it. She'd used all the strong medications, and it would just end up coming back. And I was like, I've heard that vinegar is great. It's antifungal, so it's great for, toe fungus and toenail fungus and athlete's foot. So she started soaking her feet in a basin full of vinegar and hot water every night. And within, I think it was like 3 to 4 weeks, it was completely gone, and it has never come back. Okay. There's actually tea tree essential oil, guys. If you're into essential oils at all, I am. Tea tree essential oil is also really great for this, but vinegar by itself will also do the trick. So there's a little tip for you there. So white vinegar, buy it. Like I said, I keep a jug on my laundry machine and literally use this every single time we wash our clothes, and we've never had that problem with the mildew smell. The only time that happens is if we don't put the vinegar in. Okay, so vinegar, number 1, over. Next item. Okay, so coconut oil. Okay, so anybody who knows me, has worked with me, spent any amount of time with me, knows my love for coconut oil. The list here is endless, but if you guys have not gotten on the coconut oil train yet, I'm going to get you guys on it today. You guys, coconut oil, in addition to I love things that you can ingest and use and wear, and, like you saw with the vinegar, like lots of different ways to use it. I love purchasing things that have multiple uses. And you can really get creative with it. And coconut oil is one of those things, you guys. Like this, we use this in our home every day. First of all, coconut oil is just a fabulous oil to cook with. Okay, so if you're using right now, like let's say you're using olive oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, all of these kind of oils that are not the best to cook with. I mean, olive oil is a great oil, but it's best when you use it to cook on very low heat, or in its raw, like when you're like making raw salads, for instance. Okay, like it's not going to be heated, because otherwise olive oil doesn't have a very high burning point, very high smoke point, it's called. So if you want to like fry stuff or really like get stuff cooked at a high heat, you don't want to be using these other oils that are not meant for high heats. And then there's these unhealthy oils that I mentioned, right? The corn oils and those kind of oils. So stay away from those oils if you can. Coconut oil is a fabulous substitute. I would say the only downside about using coconut oil as a substitute is that it does have a coconutty flavor, right? So people have different associations with food. So some people may not like that their food takes on that coconutty flavor. So unlike the vinegar, which you can't taste that in, when you're using it to clean your vegetables and stuff, coconut oil, you're using it to cook in, your food will start to take a little bit of a coconutty taste to it. So it may be an acquired taste, but that's the only downside to cooking with it. Otherwise, coconut oil is fabulous to cook with, fry with, bake with. So just that alone is a great benefit. And then the other ways you can take coconut oil internally and the benefits of them, aside from cooking with it, coconut oil has medium chain triglycerides. Okay, so it's got these types of fatty acids that the body wants and needs. And one of those acids is called lauric acid, which the only other place lauric acid is found is in breast milk. Okay, when lauric acid breaks down and converts, it converts into something that I cannot remember what it's called right now, but it is only found in breast milk. So it's like this really healthy fat. So actually, when I had my babies, I've shared this publicly before that I had a lot of trouble breastfeeding, and I was not able to provide them with the milk from myself that they needed. And I had heard about valoric acid in coconut oil. So I actually would put coconut oil in their formula to make sure that they were getting that same healthy fat that they would be getting from my milk. So all you mamas out there who are breastfeeding right now, just a little tip for you that, you know, if there was ever that time where you were not able to anymore, or you don't want to, or you're weaning your child off and you're concerned about them getting those healthy fats from your milk, coconut oil is a great source of those fats, okay? So it's got that lauric acid, it's got these healthy fats for you, so incorporating it not only in just frying and cooking, but incorporating it into just your everyday meals, right? So things like instead of having toast with butter on it, you would put toast with coconut oil on it, and maybe sprinkle a little bit of salt, or, you know, put a little bit of honey on there if you want to. You can use coconut oil to add to your coffee. So instead of coffee cream, you can do coconut oil, which is going to be a healthy fat. And actually, if you put your coffee into a blender with a tablespoon of coconut oil and whip it up, it's going to give you this nice, like, creamy, dark coffee. It's a great way to consume your coffee if you're trying to cut back on dairy. And a great alternative, some people will put butter, right? They'll put, if you've ever heard of Bulletproof Coffee, you know that Bulletproof Coffee has this kind of routine of, like, you use their special organic coffee, and then you add their brain octane oil, or you can add ghee or grass-fed butter, and you blend it all up in a blender to make this nice, creamy, delicious, dairy-free, healthy coffee, right? Coffee's not great for you, but if you are buying organic and making sure that it's not full of chemicals and mold, which a lot of coffee can be, you want to make sure you're getting good coffee, and then you're adding this stuff to it, like, you're literally making yourself like a super powerhouse drink that's going to fuel you all day long. So coconut oil is just great for making things kind of creamy, nutty, adding that coconut nutty flavor. Another way I love to use coconut oil is as a mouthwash or for oil pulling. So if you're not on the oil pulling train yet, I don't know if I'll convince you, because a lot of people just cannot get past that idea of having this in their mouth. But oil pulling is a very ancient Eastern tradition of swishing oil around in your mouth and allowing it to pull bacteria and toxins out and into the oil. So it absorbs all that, and you swish it around for, like, you know, anywhere from, if they say 20 minutes is ideal, but I say if you can only do that for like 5 minutes in a day, you're gonna feel the difference. It really makes your mouth healthier, because your mouth is full of germs and bacteria. So it's gonna make for a healthier environment in your mouth, killing all those germs and bacteria, pulling out all the toxins, great for your gums and the health of your teeth. And then what you do is, after you've swished it around and you cannot take it anymore, you spit it out into a garbage can, not down the drain, right? Because it's oil, into a garbage can. And it's a great way to just keep your mouth healthy, keep your teeth healthy, keep your breath fresh. So oil pulling, great way to use it. Another way to use it in your mouth is actually if you are into making your own toothpaste. Coconut oil makes a fabulous base for toothpaste as well. So, you know, regular toothpaste is full of sugar and fluoride, which, I won't get into the details here about fluoride, but, you know, if you're like me and have done your reading and your research, you're starting to maybe question the use of fluoride in society today. It's a little excessive. So I try to stay away from fluoride, especially with my kids. I don't want them, you know, brushing their teeth with toxic toothpaste that's full of chemicals and sugar. So, you know, we don't do this ourselves. We buy like a special toothpaste, but coconut oil mixed with baking soda and turned into a paste in a little jar, and you can just dip your toothbrush into it. You can brush your teeth with that, and if you need that minty flavor, add some peppermint essential oil to that. It makes a great toothpaste, because the grit of the baking soda is going to give you that cleansing, that manual cleansing. The coconut oil is antibacterial, great for your teeth, and then the peppermint gives you that clean mouth feeling, right? So another cool tip, I haven't done this myself because eggs go fast in our house. Our kids, we're not a meat, my husband and I don't eat meat, but our kids do. But because we don't eat meat, we don't buy a ton of meat. So sometimes when I feel like they're needing a little more protein, we're using eggs. So we use it to go through a lot of eggs. So we have never really been in a situation where our eggs are about to go bad. But I have heard, so don't quote me on this, but I've heard this, and you can try this yourself. If you're trying to extend the freshness of your eggs, you can actually rub the tops of the eggs, like the part that's exposed in the carton. You can rub that with coconut oil. And what it does is it creates a barrier between the shell and the air. And it is oxygen that once it seeps into the shell, because over time that shell becomes more and more porous. So the oxygen will seep in through the pores of the shell, and that's what will cause food to go bad, right? Oxygen. So putting it on the shell like that kind of creates a barrier. So it makes sense. I've never done it myself, but just a little tip for you if you're into that. Maybe give it a try. Let me know how it goes. What else? Ooh, this is a good one for all you mamas out there. Coconut oil. And I've tried this myself, guys. This works. Getting gum out of hair. Okay, so gum out of hair. I've had this happen to me before. To me, myself, I ended up getting gum stuck in my hair. Use coconut oil to pull it out. You just rub coconut oil all around the gum, all in the hair, and then it'll slowly start to break down, and then you can just pull it out slowly. Okay, so whether you have kids or not, probably at some point in your life, you may need this tip. What other ways can you use coconut oil? I wrote these all down so I wouldn't miss them. I just use them in so many different ways. Constipation. Okay, so you may have heard, guys, that when you're constipated or when your baby's constipated, actually, I'm not going to say baby because I've never tried this on a baby, but your child, a lot of times old school traditional Chinese medicine doctors will say take a tablespoon of castor oil. And what that does is it gets things moving and helps you go to the bathroom. Well, coconut oil can do the same thing. So if you are constipated, you can start taking a teaspoon of coconut oil every morning, wash it down with some hot water, and watch the magic happen. Okay. What else? Okay, I want to get to the next thing, so I will be super quick. So, deodorant, because of its antifungal and antibacterial properties, you guys, you can actually use coconut oil under your armpits. Nothing is ever going to be as amazing as antiperspirant. So if you're like me and you're trying to get away from using those chemical, toxic, aluminum-filled deodorants, you know that it is very hard to find something that's natural that is going to be exactly like those. That's not going to happen. We're never going to find anything that's the same because an antiperspirant actually keeps you from sweating, right? So if you sweat all the time and you're using antiperspirant, that antiperspirant has ingredients in it that actually prevent you from sweating. That's why you're able to stay dry. So that is not going to be found in anything else, right? You're not going to find that in a natural deodorant because the whole thing with natural deodorants is they don't put stuff in there that keeps you from sweating, because if you're trying to be healthy, you want to sweat. You want to get rid of all the toxins in your body. But using things with antifungal and antibacterial properties can get rid of the smell, okay? The smell that comes from not being fresh is what many people are trying to get rid of as well. So if you're okay with a little bit of, the sweat itself, but you are trying to just smell better and you don't want to use those deodorants and those ones that are full of like the antiperspirants, that's where you can start using something like a coconut oil. You can put a drop of tea tree oil in there because tea tree oil is antifungal as well, or whatever essential oil you want, really. But coconut oil does have those properties, and I have used this myself, guys. Like, I keep a jar of coconut oil in our room because I love to use it as a moisturizer, which is another great thing about coconut oil. But I will, there's been days where I will take like a little scoop on my finger of the coconut oil and I will literally like rub it on my armpits because it does work. So again, you cannot expect the same magic that you're going to find in like a deodorant or antiperspirant, but definitely some of these natural treatments can really be great, and coconut oil is one of them. And I already touched on this, but coconut oil is great for your skin as well. I don't find it to be, like, people will say if you have eczema, coconut oil is great for that. That has not been my experience. I don't think it's got the right properties to treat like a true like eczema or a true skin condition, but just for everyday hydrating, like for my kids, have used coconut oil on them since they were babies to give them that little, post-bath massage. You can drop a drop of lavender into a palm full of coconut oil and massage your babies with that. I also love using coconut oil. I used to use it as a cleanser, so I would take it like this all over my face, wipe my makeup, like melt my makeup off with it, and then use a hot cloth and just take all the oil off my face, and it leaves your face feeling super hydrated but also clean because it's got cleansing properties. Okay, so lots of great ways to use coconut oil, and there was one final way. Oh, in your home, coconut oil used, if you put a little bit of coconut oil on a cloth, like a dust cloth, when you're cleaning your furniture, it actually will repel dust. So if you dust with a dry duster or a dry cloth and you find that dust creeps back up super quickly after you're done cleaning, add a little bit of coconut oil to your cloth when you're dusting, and it will repel some of that dust, so the dust won't settle back down as fast. And squeaky doors, okay? So if you don't have any WD-40 on hand, coconut oil will do the trick. Just take a little bit of coconut oil on a Q-tip and rub it on the hinges, and it'll take care of that squeaking. Okay, so I could go on and on with all the benefits of coconut oil, but I pretty much don't go anywhere without it. Like when we travel, I've got a jar of coconut oil with me because it's got so many amazing uses. So there you go, coconut oil for the win. And finally, dun, 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 lemon essential oil, one of my all-time favorite essential oils. I already touched on essential oils. I've already talked about peppermint essential oil today. See, these I love essential oils. Like, they literally creep into my conversations. So I touched on how you could use peppermint for making your own toothpaste. Tea tree is an antiseptic and antibacterial, and I think I mentioned another one, but I can't remember what it was now, but maybe it was lemon. But anyways, essential oils, guys, like, if you haven't noticed the noise around essential oils, they're hitting the world big time, and it's because they work, because they're proven to work, and they have, just like all these other things I just shared, each of them has their own amazing benefits. But lemon essential oil has been one of those oils that I have found in my life to have, again, many uses. If you are not into the essential oil world yet, and you're kind of like, where should I start? I would say lemon is definitely one of the ones you want to be buying. Okay, so if you don't already have oils, or you don't already have somebody who sells oils or that you buy oils through, hit me up. You can purchase through me, send me a private message, and we can chat. But I always say there's always going to be, if you're trying to get into this world of healthier, more non-toxic living, there's going to be certain oils you want to start with that all have multiple uses, and so you can really get a good feel on how to use them and see how they change your life and your family's life. And lemon is going to be one of them. So I'm going to share with you, again, I go through lemon, like I've got two, look at this. I've got 2 bottles of lemon right here. Okay, so this is how much lemon I go through. I'm ordering lemon like all the time because I use it so much. So I go through lemon the same way I go through vinegar and coconut oil. So I just really wanted to mention it today. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to put a caveat in here that I'm going to talk about ingestion. And I always want to remind people that just like everything else out there, there are different qualities of products. So when you're purchasing essential oils, do not think that if you've got a lemon oil from another, like if you picked up lemon oil at Walmart, that's not going to be the same thing as what I'm talking about today. Okay, so when you are using these things in your home, especially if you're going to be ingesting them, you want to make sure they are pure. And I'll just tell you a super quick story about this, because I actually didn't know this before either, guys. Like I learned, just like everybody, right? Everybody has a starting point. Last night, if you follow me on Instagram, I shared on my stories that oil of oregano was my first foray into the oil world. I had been using it for years before I even knew about essential oils. Somebody had told me that oil of oregano is antibacterial, antifungal, great for things like strep throat and preventing sickness at the first sign of, a sore throat. And I have found that to be true. I started using it. I did my research. I started reading up on the data, and I always would buy this oil of oregano bottle, and I would put like 10 to 15 drops of it in my glass of water, and I would drink it at the first sign of sickness. And it worked for me, and that was fabulous. Fast forward to the last couple of years that I've really gotten into oils, and I realized that oil of oregano that I was ingesting was actually not oregano oil. It was oil of oregano. So what they were doing was there was a little bit of, I don't want to say a little, I'm sure there's like a decent amount. I don't know what the percentage was, but it was cut with olive oil. And I didn't even really think about that until I got into essential oils and I started researching essential oils and learning about essential oils and realizing that, and I still have that bottle to show people because it's like this big, but it says right on there, it says it's a certain amount of oregano oil and then the rest is olive oil. So the potency, even though it was working for me and that's great, I think about how much I was using. And with the oil of oregano that I use now, it's literally 1 drop. I use 1 drop in a huge glass of water. So just keeping it in mind, and I always think, I'm always like, thank God that I actually was using something that was ingestible, like it was cut with olive oil. But there are some of these essential oils out there now at like the big box stores that you can buy that who knows what they're cut with, and they could be synthetic too. So just make sure you're doing your homework. So when you hear people talking about essential oils and diffusing them and using them and ingesting them, please, please, please do your research and do your homework and just making sure you're purchasing from a reputable company where you are not getting the synthetic stuff, because you don't want to be ingesting that stuff, okay? So the one I'm talking about here is doTERRA, and they are a reputable company. They're a therapeutic grade, and several of their oils are safe to ingest. So if you do your homework and your research and you choose to ingest it, you can. And many people just choose to use these topically. So that's totally up to you. I do ingest. So I've done this before. Actually, if this is something that's interesting to you about lemon oil, there's a video on this page. If you go into the video section, I did a whole live on why I love lemon essential oils. So, you can go back and take a look at that. But today I really just wanted to share all these products with you. So I will just kind of get to the nitty gritty of how I use this oil. So why I use it internally and why I ingest it is a separate video. So go watch that if you're interested. It's got all sorts of health benefits. But what I love about it too is that when you're at a Lemons at home and you need to give something like a citrus flavor, you can actually put a drop of lemon, like whether it's into your salad, whether it's at the end of your cooking. 1 drop of lemon will totally, take the place of like a whole lemon. So I love lemon and I purchase lemon, but consuming lemon all the time is also not good for your teeth. So that's why I love the ways that you can ingest lemon oil. Now, let's get to the good stuff, because this is my favorite thing about lemon oil. So first of all, lemon oil has this crazy, amazing cleansing ability. Not only does it leave things smelling fresh and clean, so like you could, for instance, add this. Remember before I was talking about the vinegar and how I use vinegar for everything? You could make that bottle that I was talking about with vinegar, and put a couple drops of lemon essential oil in there to give it that lemony fresh smell. So the smell of the vinegar will dissipate, but the lemon will stay. So if you like that clean, fresh, lemon fresh feeling, you can add that to that cleanser that I was talking about, like that disinfector, and it's also great on your fruits and vegetables as well. You can also put lemon oil into your laundry, right? So same as with vinegar, how I was saying you can put the vinegar into your laundry machine. If you want that lemon fresh scent, you can also put a couple drops of lemon into your machine. It's very cleansing and it's got that great smell. This is my favorite though, guys. So talking about the cleansing properties, lemon oil will remove scratches, or I don't want to say scratches, but like marks and scuffs, and permanent marker and crayon. Like, I've tried it and it works. So what you do is you take a few drops of the lemon and you put it onto like a cloth or a tissue or a cotton ball or whatever, depending on what the surface is. And then you just rub at it and it'll take it off. And I've tried this a couple times now. It's worked with crayon and it has worked with permanent marker. Okay, so I took a Sharpie and I purposely tried it the other day on something to see if it actually works, and it does. So this will remove the stuff that otherwise you are like, what am I going to do with this? So lemon oil is great for that. And it is also great, especially this time of year. You guys are going to love this tip because it's gift giving season, right? And when we go purchase gifts for people, what do we spend like half the night doing before we start wrapping? We're taking off the price tag of everything. And some of those damn price tags are so hard to take off. Like, they really need to do a better job of these price tags because some of them just will not come off. Lemon oil is fabulous for this. So what you do is you just put a couple drops on the price tag and you just start to rub at it, and it breaks it down and makes it so much easier to take off. So lemon oil is great for that too, okay? So anything cleansing, anything that's like sticky or has residue on it, it's great for that. It's also great for like, I love to use this as like if your hands are greasy or you're out somewhere and your hands are greasy but you can't like wash your hands, lemon oil is going to cut through that. So if you've ever noticed, you know, when you go to a restaurant where like they typically will eat with their hands, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, like when you go to a Moroccan restaurant, some Japanese restaurants have this too, where there'll be like a bowl of lemon water sitting on the table. That's what it's there for, because lemon cuts grease. So, you know, you can take that lemon water and you can put your hands in it and it'll kind of take the grease off of your hands. So that's what lemon essential oil essentially will do as well. So lots of great uses. Skin, it is brightening for the skin and it's great for acne. So this is an essential oil that if you're into making your own skin products, you can include a couple drops of this in your skincare. Whether you're making your own products or not, you can put it into whatever it is that you already use. Just remember that this lemon oil and these citrus oils can make you more sensitive to the sunlight. So you want to be using it at nighttime, not during the day. And finally, there was a study done looking at lemon oil and nausea and stomach upset and vomiting in pregnancy. So diffusing some lemon oil or ingesting, if you're into ingesting, right? Like I always say, do your research. You got to feel good about it yourself. But if you're not into ingesting, just diffusing this or putting a little bit in an area, like, you know, onto your shirt or something where you can smell it, actually reduced nausea and vomiting in the women. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was pretty effective. So I would say this is probably a must-have for anybody who has morning sickness or is pregnant right now and struggling with that. So that's it, guys. Those are my 3 must-have items for the kitchen. So lemon oil, coconut oil, and the All-Star vinegar. And I'm just going to share a quick little bonus with you here, especially for moms of kiddos. I absolutely love local honey. Okay, so if you live anywhere and you have access to a beekeeper locally, local honey, not only is it just great to have honey, because honey has all sorts of purposes, right? You can use it instead of sugar in so many different ways. You can use it to make salad dressings, use it in your cooking. Honey is also great for your skin. It's very hydrating, so you can put honey on your face and do like a little honey mask for like nice soft skin. But honey is also great for allergies. So in our home, we have seasonal allergies. I have seasonal allergies, and one of my little guys does as well. A local honey that is from local bees and local pollen, which is what you're allergic to, taking a teaspoon of that every day is going to help you with your allergies. It's going to help build that immune response because you're getting those histamines at a very low level through the honey, through the bees, through the pollen, right? So you see that, how that works, right? When the bees are making honey, it is directly being affected by the pollen of whatever area they're making that honey in, whatever the flowers or, you know, whatever they're making the honey from, it's local to that area. So local honey is the best. So that's, you know, my little kind of like little tip for you is getting honey. Honey has lots of great benefits for your skin and for consumption, but also just I wanted to share that for any moms who have kids that struggle with allergies, local honey. And then, you know, of course, honey itself has multiple uses. So there you go, guys. I hope that was valuable for you. Sorry I was jumping on late today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And I can't remember off the top of my head what my day 6 gift is to you guys. I cannot remember what I'm going to be sharing here, but just stay tuned in and I'll keep you guys posted on this page, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.